Konnichiwa, boys, girls, everybody else, my ghouls and ghouls. Welcome to this video. I am my virtual coffin, but you can call me coffin. Let's go. A Manga. I just really want to say that. So, making a manga, or in my case, making an online manga. I'm currently creating an online manga on a webtoon canvas, and I've already uploaded the 3 first chapters, and I'm as soon as possible gonna start working on the 4th chapter. The manga is called Infernos of Hell, and one chapter is 15 pages long, except the first chapter, which is 20 pages long. Why did I make Infernos of Hell? Well, I've always wanted to make a manga ever since I got to know about manga. The first ever time that I saw a manga book was in my own town's library when I was searching for something new to read. Yes, I've always loved to read. So I found the manga, and I seriously don't know what manga it was, since this was around 13 years ago. Around 13 years ago. Oh my god. I know I'm 18, but damn, that made me feel old. Years go by, and then I get into anime. After a few animes, I finally find My Hero Academia, and very quickly I got to know that this anime was in book form, and that's how I got re-invited to manga. I didn't start reading the manga, but now I knew it existed, and I realized that basically every anime I've ever watched is just an adaptation of a manga. A month or so after I finished watching the 4th season of My Hero Academia, because that's how far the anime had gotten, I searched after the manga online, and I caught up until the chapter that was the most recent at the time. After that, I started to search up random manga art because I really enjoyed that black and white style, and I just love the amount of hype and energy that can be boosted into one or a few drawings. That's either a whole page or just a few small panels, and I just find it amazing. Now, last year, so 2022, I came up with the idea of making my own manga. So I started off by trying to come up with the concept for a story and the main character for that story. So the first manga idea was that I tried to revive my first ever OC, but that really quickly died because I didn't like the design or idea of the character. My first ever original character was a guy with 5 different colors in his hair, and he was an astronaut because at the time I loved playing Among Us. I actually think you can see him in some old thumbnails on my channel, but I won't show that in this video because I seriously despise those videos so much, but I don't want to delete them. So after that was scrapped, I tried doing something with the old version of my OC Kuro. I had made him trans, and in his first story he was still a girl. Then his name was Kuroko, and his design was pretty different, and I actually made 1 chapter of this manga, but I quit it right after the first chapter because I colored in everything and I did not chill at all with the details, so I decided that I won't kill my brain in such a cruel and painful way. So then I made an entirely new OC, who I have never drawn again, and I made him just to be the main character of a manga. Bad idea, I know. I had some sort of concept of the story, and I had planned his connections to a few characters in the series, but right after I was finished with the first page, all the motivation I had jumped out the window and never came back. Then finally, we get to November 2022, and I finally have the characters I needed. Characters with designs that I love drawing and personalities that I like putting into scenarios. I finally had a story that I liked the idea of, not too difficult to make actual drawings of, and fun to come up with new scenarios to keep the story going. I in fact already have a very interesting scene in mind to draw that I came up with about 2 to 3 months ago. I just have to make it to make sense into the flow of my manga. So I started to draw on the first chapter in November, and the first chapter got officially uploaded on Webtoon Canvas on the 1st of January 2023. Right after uploading the first chapter, I was working on the second chapter, and that chapter came out 1 or 2 months later. And now I uploaded the third chapter on May the 13th. So now, once again, I just gotta come up with how to smoothly continue with chapter 4. Now before and while making my manga, I've used YouTube to teach me different ways to make my manga look as good as possible and be as good as possible, while also putting a lot of my own touch on it since it's my manga. I decide over it. A fun thing to know is that while I was working on my manga, my first bestie, or one of my besties, also started working on his own manga. The concept, the character designs, the story, and started working on some scenes. His manga/comic is called Lost Magic, and I think he would love it if you guys check it out once he makes the first chapter public. Then just a few months ago, my second bestie told me and our Lost Magic bestie that she got inspired by us and also started working on her own manga. She started off with making all the characters, one of which I have a crush on because he's really hot, and she has already finished a few pages. Her manga is called Spirits, and I think she would appreciate it if you guys would check her work out when it's public as well. I realize now that you probably want to know the description of Infernos of Hell, what it is about. So here it is. In a world where 50% of the world population has powers, so-called mutant abilities or mutalities for short, there's also those people without any mutalities that would do anything for a mutality. There's where Elemenergies comes into place. Elemenergies, which stands for elemental energy, is a special type of crystal given by the gods that gives off, well, elemental energy. There's element He, which gives off fire. There's element Misu, that gives off water. Denki gives off electricity. Shikyu, for the power of earth. Kori, for ice. Then there's also 2 non-elemental elemenergies, Kurai, which gives off darkness, and Raito, which gives off light. But those 2 are very rare. But thanks to the elemenergies being very easy to make and easy to get hands on, they became legal to sell for normal civilians. The elemenergies are easy to produce thanks to a group of scientists, together with 7 demons, is having the 7 gods captured and held hostage. The 7 gods: Prome, short for Prometheus, the god of fire, then Pos, or Poseidon, the god of water, Sea, Zeus, the god of electricity, Gaia, god of earth, Shu, the god of ice, Erebus, the god of darkness, and Mithra, the god of light. Kuro, the main character, who's born with a mutality, accidentally gets his hand on an elemenity and gets on the wanted list for both the police and the gang that he accidentally got the elemenity from. He quickly realizes the severity of the situation and decides that instead of giving the elemenity directly back to where we got it from, he decides to find the gods and hand back the elemenity directly to Prome. Kuro, on his journey, gets help from his dad Akunutsui, his uncle Haluo, Haluo's boyfriend Sanju, Kuro's older brother Kasoi, his girlfriend Ketsuki, and his boyfriend Nensho. The reason Kuro decides to give it back directly to Prome is because the gang that accidentally dropped the elementy so that Kuro found it has bad history with Haluo and Sanju, so Kuro would rather not stir up anything bad for his uncle and uncle's boyfriend. And if just the description sounds really random, then just know that Infernos of Hell is very inspired of My Hero Academia and Chainsaw Man, and a little bit of Demon Slayer, since those three are my currently favorite animes/mangas. And remember, if you decide to read my manga and think it's bad or very decent, I'm still a beginner and I'm still learning how to make better content. How to make a good manga, while I'm also drawing pictures from my Instagram art account and practicing animation. And now we are at the end of the video. Thank you so much for listening to me chatter for 11 minutes. Wow. And I hope you will have an amazing morning, day, evening, noon, night, whatever time it is for you right now. And if you like this video, then please click on the thumbs up. If you wanna see more content like this, then subscribe, but you don't have to. I won't force you, that's your choice. And yeah, either see ya or bye or goodbye. Bye bye.
Nice hibernation. My roots in the pavement, no stimulation. I'm gonna photosynthesize. You for my life, I'll tell you say my bad. You don't know your way around the pussy, call you Chad. Throwing temper tantrums every time I got a bag. Kinda sad, little nags, I'm mad.